Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Fantasyland Megapark. Now, this park, which will obviously be a fantasy park, I want to make it sort of in a medieval style. Here in the middle, I want to have a big castle town, and we'll have several themed lands on these surrounding islands. Now, this map is approximately 1/4 the size of Imagination Megapark. It's 128 by 128 tiles big, so hopefully I won't be working on this for the entire year. But yeah, it definitely should be a fun project to work on. Now, in today's episode, I want to focus on the entrance area of the park, which will be over here. I want to have a nice gate, maybe some parking area for people's horses, and we can probably also put a few farms here. And of course, we can also immediately put the first attractions of the park here. I'm really excited to get started on this, so without further ado, let's go work on the entrance area. Alright, after several hours of work, the first area of the park is now completed. Here you can see the entrance gate with these two towers. I also put two knights on top of it. Over here in front of the entrance you can see some stables here, so people who arrive here by horse, they can park them over here. And I also decided to make a little marketplace over here in front of the gate. Often in medieval towns you would also find a market outside the town just to prevent overcrowding a bit. But I've also extended the market to inside here. Here's the a small square in front of the behind the gate, I should say. And here in the middle I decided to make this fun little fountain. Also with this Virginia reel top just jumping up and down. Just to add a little bit of life to the area. Now inside this market you can see a lot of these entertainers here. They're trying to entice people to buy their goods, and I froze them in place using the Beep Editor plugin, and here you can see some more of these entertainers. Alright, with that done, I think we can focus on building our first attraction over here in this area. Alright, it would not be a Link park without some kind of death-defying rides. So here you can see the first attraction of the park, and I named it Zoomerang. So the train travels backwards up this spike around this tower. Then after that there's several helixes over here through this farmland. And then finally there's a drop down into the water. But instead of dropping down off the track, it actually returns backwards here. I used a technique called shoestringing, where half of the train is actually on an underground track, and when the train travels, this half of the train travels forwards here, the other half of the train travels vertically upwards, and it actually offsets the speed that the train would get on this track. It's quite a complicated trick, but I think it works wonderfully here. I think it's a great way to set the tone for the attractions in this park. Alright. For the rest of this episode, I will focus on adding several more smaller attractions to this area. Alright, a lot of new rides have been added to this area. Where do I start? Let's start over here. First off, I made this little archery range over here. Yeah, there's actually some invisible toilets over here which guests will use from time to time. And when they do it, they will stand still over here. And it will actually look like they're watching the archery range and maybe firing some arrows. It's quite a fun technique. You can see these guys standing still. So you could imagine them actually using the archery range. I think it's quite a fun trick. Now then over here I made this little rodeo ride. You can see this entertainer here showing off his horse. And guests can get on the horse and they have to try and stay on the horse as long as possible. And here you can see the horse rocking back and forth. Quite simple to make, but it's always a fun ride to have in the park. Now then over here I made this small carousel. It uses these wild mouse vehicles, these mine carts. And as you can see, these swing outwards. Named the ride Tippin' Trolley. Now then over here on the market we have this ride. I call it Afiaten. It's one of these magic bikes rides which I really like to make. By the way, for most of these rides you can find a tutorial in my tutorial park series. But yeah, I always like the way these rides look, and I think it's a really nice addition to the market here. And then finally over here we can find this Screamin' Swing ride. I called it Pendulum. I think it just sits super nice here in this corner of the park. These rides are also pretty simple to make, and I think they're a great addition to any park, and it sits here nicely on the edge of the cliff. So yeah, super happy with the progress that I've made today. Alright, I want to finish off this episode with a tour through the park as far as it has been made today. But before I do that, I want to name some of these entertainers that I placed in the park after some of my patrons. Alright, 73, Bill Hinderman, Sam Polkov, Lucas Laoda, and MV Pickles. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. The support is truly appreciated, and you have all gotten a nice spot in the park. And if you guys want a different color for your entertainer name, just let me know, just write me a message and we can arrange it. And if you're watching this video, you also want to support my channel, you can find a link to my Patreon channel in the video description. Alright, let's take a quick tour through the park. Here you have the entrance area. You can find these two towers here with a big gate. I also later off camera also put some flags on top, which I think look pretty cool. Now then right here next to the entrance you can see these stables here. Another addition over here is these handymen. One is sweeping, the other is feeding the horse. Yeah, by the way, if you want one of these handymen to be named after you, just leave a fun or interesting comment on this video. And yeah, you may just get picked out to become a handyman in the park. Now then over here you can find a little market outside of the gates. Also lots of entertainers here who are showing their wares. And it definitely gives some life to the area. Now then over here we find this family boomerang coaster called Zoomerang, and it has this really fun quirk here at the end where it goes downhill, but on the hill it actually reverses direction and then it goes backwards. Now it also travels all along this farm, and also on this farm you can find several more of these handymen tending to the crops here. Alright, and then in the rest of this area you can find all these extra rides that I recently built. Here's the archery range, here's several other rides, a rodeo and a little minecart carousel. Here's the magic bikes ride, and here's a Screamin' Swing. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was really fun for me to build. I think I will end this video with a nice cinematic shot of all the attractions, so stay tuned for that. Now, if you enjoyed watching this video, please give this video a like, it would really help out my channel. I would love to hear in the comments what you think of this video. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. Right, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.